Remember when it was cool to flaunt wealth? That's when you started hearing about dinks, double income, no kids. Well, today, the dinks and Donald Trumps have been replaced by a new breed of wealth. Led by Bill Gates, Seattle has become a major center for the young and wealthy. But they don't necessarily want you to know who they are. Not Brittany, not Paris. When you think young and rich, you ought to be thinking about Seattleites like C.J. Liu.
I don't really like the name, Jan. Does that mean I'm boring? That's the first thing I thought.
And Bryce Mathern.
We just got an acronym, so that's exciting.
Bryce and C.J. are in a new social class called Yans, young and wealthy, but normal.
How are you?
The acronym, first coined by a London newspaper, describes 20s, 30s, and 40-year-olds who've made mega millions, but you'd never know it.
Kind of narrowed the field a little bit.
CJ, along with another Jan friend, Lavon, never needs to work another day in her life. She retired from Microsoft after 17 boom years of extraordinary stock options. She watched as some co-workers upgraded their clothes and cars, their houses and spouses. But Jans are yuppies version 2.0, or un-yuppies. Instead of flashy suits and BMWs, they swear by their jeans.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's an amazing car.
And their hybrids. Typical of the low-key Jan, CJ sank her roots in a middle-class Seattle neighborhood, living not in a McMansion, but in a 2,800-square-foot Craftsman, and working out of her dining room on her new life mission.
So, I mean, the interesting thing when I was listening to your language is that you talk about making a judgment call.
Coaching other Jans on making sense out of their lives.
The types of self-esteem that they had in previous generations were all about making sure that your wealth was apparent and known, and through your houses and the clubs that you join and things like that. And now I think that at least the self-esteem, the kind of ways that you feel self-esteem in this generation is about the things that you do. You know, how meaningful is your work? What are you doing with your time and talents?
That's what Bryce Mathern has asked himself many times. He struck it rich at Amazon and somehow always felt guilty about it.
It's kind of interesting how you sort of start to play it out like, oh, I worked really hard, so I deserve this money. I don't think I deserve this money. I just happened to be at the right place at the right time.
You were lucky.
Yeah, I was lucky.
Here's one place his soul-searching led him.
So everyone's going to have a little different experience, but just notice how it feels.
To use the wealth that circumstance brought him to help others and affect social change. For example, offering classes on Feldenkrais, a physical movement therapy that he believes can be transformational.
Real gentle, slide your pelvis, that's it, that's it, that's it.
When your body starts to gain all kinds of freedom and openness in it, it's sort of starts to take on your mind as well, and you start to see that there's all this possibility.
The markets in New York were rocked again on Monday.
Like most Jans, Bryce gives away as much or more than he spends, mostly to social causes. Brought up in the can-do technological age, many Jans aim at nothing less than saving the world.
When you have these resources, it's a big responsibility.
Is it a burden?
I don't see it as a burden. I think I did initially. It was sort of scary and it felt a little overwhelming. But now I see it as an amazing opportunity.
We're trying.
Yeah.
We're trying to take, I think, the talents that we have and do the best that we possibly can and make this world a better place.
So the ultimate status symbol of the Seattle Jan is not a private jet, but a private foundation. CJ's husband started one benefiting the environment. If they succeed, it's all under the radar. You'd never guess that unassuming young man in the Spartan two-bedroom house in the Central District had anything to do with it. Bryce's biggest splurge?
I basically had just like used couches and used furniture my whole life, and I don't think I'd ever really bought a piece of furniture before. And I bought this leather couch, but it was so nice and so pretty. And
That was 10 years ago, and the couch is still perhaps the nicest thing he owns. No one knows exactly how many Jans there are in the Puget Sound region, but one estimate puts the number above 35,000. Up next, have you taken a beating in the market? Wondering what to do now? Let's get some advice and perspective from a local wealth management firm with a national reputation.